Severed Steel. It's one of those games that doesn't get a lot of eyes on it, but it probably should. Now, unlike a lot of the FPS industry, which is focused on player retention, rank, and the battle pass, Severed Steel is focused on fun. Just like the other game from Greylock Studios, Echo Point Nova, this game floods my brain with more dopamine than it can physically handle. I don't need Newports or a vape to get zooted. I just need to dive through a window in slow motion, blasting some dude's face with a Desert Eagle.
I mean, my heart's beating, my hands are shaking, but I'm still shooting, I'm still getting the headshots. It's like boom, headshot, boom, headshot, boom, headshot.
But unlike Echo Point Nova, this game has more of a concrete narrative. In this game, you play as Steel. She was severed from her arm.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
And that's not even the worst thing that happened to her. She was denied workers' compensation and now wants revenge on those dirty capitalists. So, feel no remorse mowing down the enemies in this game because remember, capitalists are not people. Steel is on a quest to vanquish the evil CEO to stop the alienation of workers from their work, or workers from their arms. Alright, this story isn't exactly a narrative beacon of brilliance, but it doesn't matter, as again, slow-mo, guy's head go boom. Now, that's not to say this game is easy. If you stand still, you die. If you're at a slow-mo for too long, you die. If you breathe the wrong way, you die. Movement is critical to your survival. So, Steel has a wall run, a double jump, the ability to dive, a slide, and a wall kick. The wall kick resets your jumps. But all of those movement abilities are still not enough. You will probably die doing all of this. That's where the true gameplay button comes in. Bullet time. The true art to this game is using your bullet time to get through the level alive. Enter bullet time and you go into slow-mo. You can use this ability to, for example, dive into a room through the window and shoot all the corporate thugs before they even have the ability to call HR. As a bonus, which you don't get because you're not a member of the C-suite, getting kills in and out of bullet time adds more time to your bullet time. So, theoretically, just chain bullet time to last the entire level. But what about guns? What kind of firepower are we packing? Well, because Steel has been deprived of her left arm, she's unable to reload, meaning we have to find a new gun every time. But don't worry, because when you're done with the gun, you can just return it to the company. I heard they have a great return policy.
Oh, I love dodgeball! Heads up!
The weapons in this game come in many shapes and sizes. There's guns that shoot faster than your PTO will be denied, there's a flamethrower, regular assault rifles, pistols, and a grenade launcher. But to me, there are 3 weapon types that stand above the rest. Those weapons are the P99, the Desert Eagle, and any shotgun. These are the weapons I find the best at teaching the shareholders about fundamental economic principles. Forget Adam Smith's idea of geographic advantage, I have caliber advantage. There is one final ability, and that is your arm cannon. Because Steel is arm challenged, she has a cannon on her left arm. Steel's arm cannon goes together perfectly with this game's level design. It's like corporations and avoiding taxes, just a match made in heaven. The cannon acts as like a portable hole puncher for the walls, the floor, and basically anything on the level, with a few exceptions. If you don't want to use the door or the window, just make your own hole. Some of the levels take you and your comrades back to Stalingrad the way they look at the end. Or an Airbnb after spring break. But don't worry, best part for you is you don't have to pay for it, because that's the company's problem, and I'm sure it's insured. Now, the enemies in this game aren't super diverse, probably because the board didn't want to spend too much money on henchmen. And all of them require different strategies to kill them. They require a headshot, a headshot, a headshot. Multiple headshots, and shooting the big glowing red thing on his back. Now, there is the option again to play the game in New Game Plus, but all that changes between the main story mode and the New Game Plus is that the levels will have more enemies and more enemy types throughout the story, spawning harder enemies early in the story. As well, you can apply mutators to the campaign to make it harder or easier, but the mutators are better explained in the other modes in this game. And those would be Firefight and Rogue Steel. Firefight 2.0 is where the sandbox of this game can truly shine. The objective of the Firefight is to try and get a high score to get an S rank. The better the rank, the more XP you get. You get a high score by linking together stunts and cool tricks. Stunts include diving kills, headshot kills, wall running kills, throwing your weapon to get kills, melee kills, and you want XP because the higher your level, the better weapons you can start each level with. Being a higher level gives you access to mutators, which depending on which ones you select can give you more or less XP. You can go from unlimited ammo to every gun you pick up has one bullet. Now, as I said before, each stage has specific challenges for it. If you complete enough challenges, you get access to new types of arm cannons. You have the default cannon, which just allows you to punch holes in walls, or you can have the gravity cannon, which allows you to pick up objects or dual wield, or a laser, or have just an even better cannon that you get at the end of the campaign. The challenges can vary from get 2 headshots while in a dive, or reflect projectiles back at enemies, or it can go all the way to get a high enough combo point. They get increasingly difficult as you go through the levels. Now, once you've completed everything in Firefight, in my opinion, there's not much replay value unless you're chasing leaderboards, but that's where the other mode comes in, Rogue Steel. As the name suggests, this mode is a roguelite mode, but it's a very forgiving mode as you can't die on a run. That being said, you can make your run impossible to finish. Or maybe possible, maybe I'm just bad. So each stage you select a new card, and these cards are the same thing as mutators from the Firefight mode. They can make your run easier or harder. The harder the run, the higher the score. The score in Rogue Steel is used to unlock new cosmetics for Steel, new suits, and then skins for the arm cannon. But Steel doesn't need new skins, as vanity is a path to feel conceited and arrogant. Modesty helps one to go forward, whereas conceit makes one lag. What was I saying? Oh, right. Basically, I was saying that you can have a run where you make it impossible to complete it. On one run I had, the bullet time doesn't slow down the world as much, one in the chamber, and Steel has lower health, and jetpack enemies can only be meleeed. And then for the cherry on top of that masochist cake, I got the room with no cover and a bunch of jetpack enemies. Needless to say, I ended the run on my own terms.
Missile on ramp. Missile on ramp.
The thing about the roguelite mode is depending on what mutators you get, it can change the way you play the game. If you get the mutator where you have to have headshots only, then you might want to prioritize high rate of fire weapons. Or, if you have headshots only and one in the chamber, then shotguns and explosive weapons might be your friend. Remember, it's the Geneva suggestions.
Oh shit, not good.
Severed Steel was a very surprising game for me. I didn't think I would enjoy it as much as Echo Point Nova, as I feared it was just going to be an early prototype version of what Echo Point Nova was going to become. However, these two games are familiar enough that you can tell they are made by the same team, but distinct enough that neither game replaces the other. Severed Steel offers a combat system that accentuates and emphasizes its more claustrophobic sandbox. Of the 3 modes it offers, the story mode feels like its purpose is to funnel you into the actual game, which in my opinion is the Rogue Steel mode and the Firefight 2.0 mode. The story mode feels almost like a tutorial to explain to you how the game works with a bit of story sprinkled in, which by no means is a negative. Firefight 2.0 tests your ability to fully utilize the game's sandbox to get high scores, whereas Rogue Steel tests your ability to adapt to harder challenges within the sandbox. But again, that's not to say the story mode isn't necessary or appreciated, but that the gameplay of this game is so tight and fun that I get the most out of it when I'm being pushed to my limits. And I had a lot of fun with the anti-corporate jokes in this video, but just know, you're playing as the bad guy in this game. I have no sympathy for the proletariat. Workers aren't people, they're stats in your quarterly reports.